The communication panel crackled to life, the static crackling through the silence like a whisper from the depths of space. "We found you, our savior." The desperate voice trembled through the void, fraught with both fear and hope. It was an ancient distress signal, faint but unmistakable, breaking through the endless black. The crew of the Endeavor fell silent, the gravity of the message settling heavily upon them. This was no ordinary call. It was a plea from a colony thought lost to time, sending ripples of urgency that echoed through the ship's dimly lit corridors. The flickering lights of the communication console cast a ghostly glow as the distress call beckoned them forward into the unknown. Inside the cramped cockpit, Navigator Tess Calder leaned forward, her eyes sharp but shadowed with unease. Fingers steady yet hesitant, she adjusted the ship's sensors, scanning the uncharted fringes of the Ardina sector. The weight of the moment pressed on her chest. She wasn't seeking glory or heroism, only quiet purpose. Yet fate seemed determined otherwise. Her jaw tightened as she processed the signal's coordinates, a mix of focus and reluctance playing across her face. Tess was no stranger to command, but the call to lead a forgotten colony was heavier than she had ever imagined. Still, deep inside, a flicker of resolve began to kindle. The star charts illuminated the mysterious Ardina sector, its outer edges cloaked in shadow and legend. Among the blinking lights marking known worlds, one that pulsed with uncertain life. A colony long presumed dead for centuries, swallowed by time and silence. The lost world had become a ghost in the star maps, whispered about but never truly believed to exist. Yet now, the distress call painted it vividly back onto their screens. The flickering planetary image revealed a world scarred but alive, sending a message that survival still lingered. It was a beacon of hope and a harbinger of peril, waiting silently in the cosmic dark. The bridge fell into stunned silence. Crew members exchanged wide-eyed glances, faces illuminated by the eerie blue glow of the consoles. Some murmured under their breath, disbelief mingling with cautious hope. The gravity of the transmission was undeniable. This was more than a mission. It was a turning point. Around Tess, the crew's usual chatter faded into quiet contemplation, each individual grappling with the unknown ahead. The air felt thick, charged with anticipation, as if the ship itself held its breath, poised on the edge of destiny. Tess's fingers clenched tightly on the control console, knuckles whitening as the realization sank in. This was no longer a distant mission. This was a call to action. Her eyes, once flickering with doubt, now shone with hard-earned determination. The reluctant navigator transformed in that moment, accepting the weight thrust upon her shoulders. "Maybe this colony found its leader after all," she whispered, a quiet vow forged in steel and hope. Her gaze hardened, fingers steady as she prepared to steer the Endeavor into uncharted darkness, toward a fate intertwined with the survivors calling out from the void. With steady hands, Tess initiated the course correction, the engines humming with renewed purpose. The starfield shifted as the Endeavor turned toward the mysterious coordinates, slicing through the silent depths of space. The navigation screens updated with each passing moment, charting paths through uncharted territories and cosmic hazards. Around her, the crew prepared. Checks were run, systems calibrated, and silent prayers offered. The ship's thrusters flared softly, propelling them closer to the forgotten world. Each pulse of the engines echoed their shared determination, signaling the beginning of a journey into the unknown. As stars streamed past the viewport, the crew held a collective breath, the calm before the inevitable storm. Tess stood still, eyes fixed on the darkness ahead, her thoughts a whirlwind beneath the serene silence. The weight of what lay before them, unknown dangers, the hope of survivors, pressed heavily in the air. Yet beneath the tension, there was a fragile spark of hope, a belief that this mission could change everything. In that suspended moment, the Endeavor sailed silently forward, carrying with it the fragile promise of salvation and the dawn of new destiny. The Ardina sector stretches like a forgotten scar across the galaxy, a remote expanse once teeming with promise, but now left to drift in shadow. Terraforming efforts that once aimed to transform its barren worlds into thriving habitats ended in costly failure. Corporations pulled out, their ambitions replaced by silence and neglect. Star charts mark Ardina as little more than a dark blot, its stars dimmed and distant. The sector's isolation deepens with each passing year, a silent reminder of dreams abandoned and frontiers forsaken. To most navigators, Ardina is a faded footnote, lost amidst the glittering bustle of more profitable sectors. Star charts bury the lost colony beneath layers of annotations, a ghost in official records. Bureaucrats and corporate strategists dismiss it as irrelevant, overshadowed by booming trade routes and resource-rich systems. This disregard leaves Ardina's story untold, its struggles erased from collective memory. What once held hope now languishes in obscurity, waiting for those who still dare to remember. Navigation buoys that once guided explorers through Ardina's treacherous reaches now flicker intermittently or lie silent in the void. Radiation belts pulse unpredictably, their erratic glow painting invisible hazards against the starry canvas. Communication relays sputter weak signals, barely holding together threads of connection across the sector's vast emptiness. These failures render Ardina nearly inaccessible, a maze of dangers that repel the unwary and challenge even the most skilled pilots. Amid the swirling asteroid fields that skirt Ardina's borders, scavenger crews pick through the wreckage of failed expeditions. Rusted ships and shattered relics litter the debris, silent testaments to past ambitions and dashed hopes. These hardy salvagers work under harsh conditions, eking out a living from remnants left behind. Their presence is a stubborn pulse of life amid desolation, driven by grit and the faint promise that something valuable still lies hidden among the ruins. Far from the void's cold expanse, bureaucratic offices glow with artificial light as piles of reports on Ardina gather dust, ignored and dismissed. Officials label the sector beyond recovery, a lost cause not worth the investment. With each cold decree, the histories and hardships of Ardina's settlers fade further into oblivion. This indifference is a slow erasure, a quiet betrayal of those who struggled to carve a home from the void, leaving their stories untold and their futures uncertain. Within the cramped cockpit of the Endeavour, Tess Calder pilots carefully through dense fields of drifting wreckage and cosmic debris. The weight of the sector's abandonment presses on her, reflected in the shadows cast across her determined face. Stars flicker coldly beyond the viewport, as the ship threads a cautious path through hazards unseen. Each maneuver carries the silent stories of the forgotten, and Tess feels the isolation keenly, as if the entire sector is holding its breath, waiting for salvation. Despite the pervasive desolation, faint life signs pulse steadily on the ship's scanners, a fragile heartbeat amidst the darkness. Somewhere on a forgotten world, a colony clings tenaciously to survival, its existence a stubborn beacon of hope. The distant glow of a planet looms through the haze, whispering promises of life and resilience. Against all odds, this signal calls out, a plea for rescue, a spark of defiance in a sector all but abandoned by time and fate. Tess Calder leads the landing party down through the low-hanging clouds onto the colony's scarred surface. Below, cracked geodesic domes peek through wild, tangled vegetation that has claimed much of the settlement. Buildings, once vibrant hubs of life, now stand weathered and abandoned, their walls etched with the passage of time and neglect. The air is heavy with the scent of earth and decay, whispering stories of survival against unrelenting odds. The landing shuttles touch down cautiously on uneven ground, engines humming softly as the crew prepares to face the unknown. Tess's eyes scan the horizon, catching faint movements amid the overgrowth, a fragile pulse of life in the forgotten frontier. From the shadows of a crumbling dome emerges an elder survivor, his face carved by decades of hardship and sun. He fixes Tess with a sardonic glance and mutters, "You're no savior." Yet, the remark carries a sharp edge, seasoned by experience and tempered by skepticism. Tess meets his gaze with a wry smile, her eyes flickering with a mix of amusement and determination. "Maybe I'm just in time," she replies softly, breaking the heavy silence. The brief exchange diffuses tension, offering a crack of light in the colony's gloom. It hints at the fragile beginnings of trust, a tentative handshake between past wounds and future possibility. Tess moves through the settlement, her footsteps soft against cracked pavement as she listens to survivors gathered around small fires. Their voices carry tales of loss, families torn apart, harvests failed, and nights spent fearing silence. Yet amid the sorrow are stories of resilience. Makeshift gardens blossoming in forgotten corners, children learning old songs, and a stubborn hope that refuses to die. Tessa's expression shifts with each tale, empathy knitting an invisible bond between her and those who cling to this fragile life. She watches as laughter erupts from children playing nearby, a fleeting reminder of joy amid hardship. The quiet connection deepens her sense of responsibility. This colony is no longer a distant mystery, but a community she must protect. Suddenly, the ground trembles beneath them, a distant roar escalating into chaos. A mining shaft on the colony's outskirts has collapsed, trapping several colonists beneath tons of rubble. Panic surges through the settlement, but Tess wastes no time. Rallying nearby workers and survivors, she organizes a daring rescue operation. Shouting clear instructions, she coordinates teams with practiced precision, turning fear into focused action. As dust billows and debris shifts, Tess leads the charge, her quick thinking guiding rescuers to unstable areas. After tense moments, trapped voices cry out, and one by one, colonists emerge from the wreckage, shaken but alive. Tessa's leadership shines brightly, a beacon cutting through the darkness of disaster. That night, beneath a sky peppered with countless stars, the colony's children gather close to Tess around a flickering fire. Their eyes shine bright, reflecting the dancing flames and a newfound hope that glows from within. They listen intently as Tess shares stories, tales of distant worlds, of courage and survival, weaving dreams where despair once held sway. The children's laughter and wide-eyed wonder fill the cool night air, defiant and pure. Tess sits among them, her heart swelling with a quiet joy. In their faces, she sees the promise of tomorrow, a living testament that even in forgotten places, hope can take root and flourish against all odds. As the fire's glow softens, an elder steps forward, removing a worn, silver medallion from beneath his cloak. With deliberate care, he places it into Tess's outstretched hand. "You carry our future," he says solemnly, his voice weighted with years of longing and hope. The medallion's cold metal rests heavy against her palm, a tangible symbol of trust and responsibility now entrusted to her. Tess looks up, meeting the elder's steady gaze, feeling the profound gravity of the moment settle deep within. This gesture seals a bond, not just between leader and people, but between past struggles and the promise of renewal. Alone on a ridge overlooking the colony's dimly lit structures, Tess breathes deeply, her eyes fixed on the horizon where dawn's first light begins to touch the sky. The medallion glints softly in her hand, a reminder of the promise she now bears. Her mind quiets, and with quiet strength, she vows to stand with this community, to protect, rebuild, and inspire. The trials ahead will be daunting, but the bond forged in hardship steels her spirit. This colony is no longer a distant mission. It is home, and Tessa's resolve is unwavering as the sun rises to meet a new day. As night deepens, Tess stands alone atop the ridge, silhouetted against a canvas of stars strewn across the dark sky. A gentle breeze stirs the wild grasses around her, carrying the faint sounds of the colony settling into rest. In the vast silence, a quiet flame of hope burns steady within her, a promise that from even the broken worlds, new life and courage will emerge. This moment marks not an end, but the fragile beginning of a journey to reclaim what was lost and build a future worthy of the stars themselves. Beneath the settlement's weathered surface, Tess Calder uncovers a concealed data vault, its entrance buried beneath layers of rubble and overgrowth. As she breaks through the seals, ancient holographic archives flicker to life, casting ghostly blue light across the dim chamber. The vault reveals the colony's original mission, a pioneering experiment in sustainable bioengineering designed to restore barren worlds. Long-forgotten star maps and ecological models pulse with data, unveiling the settlers' vision of harmony between humanity and nature. Tess stands awed amid these relics of ambition and hope, realizing the colony's true purpose transcends mere survival. It holds the blueprint for salvation. The fragile technology housed within the colony has the power to rejuvenate dying ecosystems across the entire Ardina sector, offering a beacon of hope to ravaged planets. Yet, this bioengineering marvel is unstable, its secrets coveted by ruthless corporate powers eager to harness or weaponize it. The colony's fate now balances precariously between renewal and destruction. Tess understands the immense responsibility she carries. Failure means the ecological collapse of the sector and corporate domination unchecked. Every decision weighs heavy, for this is more than a home. It is the keystone to the sector's survival. Holologs spring to life, projecting the faces and voices of the colony's first settlers, hopeful pioneers driven by dreams of coexistence and restoration. Their words tell of relentless efforts to nurture barren soil, of harmony sought between advanced technology and wild nature. Yet shadows loom as corporate interests infiltrate their mission, sowing betrayal and greed that fracture the fragile community. These echoes from the past, filled with triumph and heartbreak, resonate deeply with Tess, fueling her resolve to honor their legacy and protect what remains. Amid the vault's encrypted files, Tess discovers a sealed, urgent directive: protect the colony at all costs. Failure means sector collapse. This protocol elevates the colony's defense from survival to a mission of critical importance for the entire Ardina sector's future. The stark warning reverberates in her mind, sharpening her focus. The weight of this mandate settles upon her shoulders, transforming her hesitation into fierce determination. Every system reboot and tactical choice now carries the gravity of preserving not just lives, but the fragile balance of an entire ecosystem. Confronted with the colony's fate, Tess's uncertainty melts into steely resolve. This isn't just survival, it's salvation, she declares, voice ringing with newfound authority. Her transformation from reluctant explorer to fierce protector ignites a spark among the colonists rallying behind her. Around her, dormant power systems hum back to life, a sign that renewal is possible. This moment marks a turning point. The colony's fragile hope now anchored in her unwavering commitment to defend, rebuild, and reclaim their rightful future. On the colony's horizon, a corporate salvage fleet darkens the stars, warships forming with cold intent to seize the vault's secrets. The settlement's alarm systems flare as a fail-safe countdown begins. Only hours remain before the hostile forces arrive. Tension coils through the colony like electricity, urgency radiating from every corner. Colonists prepare defenses while Tess coordinates last-minute preparations, aware that failure means not just loss, but corporate subjugation and ecological doom. The battle to protect this legacy is imminent. In a decisive move, Tess uplinks the colony's plight and fragile bioengineering technology to rebel networks scattered throughout the sector. Streams of encrypted data cascade across holoscreens, triggering an outpouring of solidarity and aid. Messages of support flood in, and rebel freighters begin mobilizing toward the Ardina sector. This digital torrent transforms the isolated colony into a beacon of resistance, a symbol of hope and defiance against corporate greed. Tess watches as the wave of rebellion gains momentum, fueling the fight to reclaim their future. Adopting the colony's glowing seedling emblem as her call sign, Tess embraces the name Greenlight. This symbol of new life and growth becomes a rallying point for defenders and allies alike. Emblazoned on uniforms, ships, and banners, the seedling glows softly, a luminous promise that from destruction, renewal can rise. Tess activates her calm badge, the emblem's light reflecting determination in her eyes, a living testament to the colony's enduring spirit and the fight for ecological restoration. In a solemn gathering beneath the colony's tallest dome, Tess clasps hands with the elders, keepers of wisdom and history. Their joined hands speak of trust forged through hardship and shared dreams. The ceremony solidifies a pact to protect this world and its secrets together. Elders nod in solemn approval, their faces lined with hope and resilience. This unity spans generations, weaving the past, present, and future into a shared commitment. Tess feels the weight and honor of their trust, ready to lead not just as a savior, but as one with the colony. Under Tess's command, dormant terraforming systems roar back to life. Power pulses surge through cracked conduits and ancient machinery, echoing with the hum of rebirth. Lights flicker and grow steady as biomes respond. Green shoots pierce cracked soil, promising renewal. The landscape breathes anew, vibrant energy flowing through veins of rusted tech. Colonists watch with awe as lifeless fields begin to bloom, a tangible sign that hope is no longer a whisper, but a living force. Tess stands resolute, the colony awakening around her. Rebel freighters appear on the horizon, their banners rising high against the void, emblems of solidarity and defiance. Ships form tight, defensive formations around the colony, their crews ready to defend against corporate assault. This alliance turns a vulnerable outpost into a fortress of resistance, emboldening colonists and rebels alike. Voices rise in unison, pledging protection and shared purpose. Tess watches the coalition grow, knowing strength lies not only in technology, but in unity forged through adversity. As corporate warships descend in ominous formation, Tess stands unyielding at the colony's core, framed by the glowing seedling emblem. Her voice rings clear, "We fight for life itself." Around her, defenders rally, armed with grit, hope, and the fierce will to protect their legacy. Explosions light the darkened skies as the battle ignites. Against overwhelming odds, Tess's leadership inspires a stand not just for survival, but for the future of an entire sector, a testament to courage born in the shadow of annihilation. Tess's urgent broadcast ripples through nearby star systems, sparking uprisings among scattered rebel factions long waiting for a cause. Inspired by her resolute call, rebels seize critical supply lines, disrupting the iron grip of corporate powers. Convoys once thought secure are ambushed, their weapons and provisions rerouted to aid the beleaguered colony. What began as flickers of resistance soon blazes into a roaring flame as fragmented groups unite under a common banner. Across the sector, whispered hopes swell into bold declarations of defiance, shifting the fragile balance of power. Rebel ships capture supply convoys amid jubilant cheers, their glowing banners a testament to a new era of rebellion and resolve. In swift retaliation, massive corporate mega-fleets mobilize with ruthless precision, deploying heavily armed warships to crush the emerging resistance. These cold, calculated strikes rain plasma fire on the outskirts of the colony, aiming to dismantle defenses and sever vital supply chains before the rebellion can solidify. Explosions ignite the skies above Greenlight, painting the darkness with violent bursts of destruction. Each salvo is a chilling reminder of the corporation's relentless desire to maintain control. The colony's defenders brace under the barrage, forced to adapt quickly as warships maneuver with tactical efficiency, their cold lights illuminating the grim determination etched on every face. Despite the relentless corporate assault, colonies throughout the Ardena sector answer Tessa's call with unwavering solidarity. Volunteers, weapons, and essential supplies pour into Greenlight under the cover of darkness, weaving through covert routes shielded from enemy detection. Cargo ships unload under muted lights as hands hurriedly prepare weapons and equipment, breathing renewed strength into the colony's faltering defenses. This surge of civilian aid transforms isolated survivors into a united force, fierce, resourceful, and determined to endure. The spirit of hope is rekindled with every crate delivered and every volunteer who pledges to stand alongside Tess and her people. Across the vast expanse of subspace, Tessa's voice pierces the static with unwavering clarity. We are more than survivors. We are the future. Her words reverberate through ComNet channels, igniting courage in the hearts of colonists, rebels, and freedom fighters alike. Screens flicker to life as diverse listeners from distant outposts and hidden strongholds tune in, their faces lighting up with determination and resolve. Tessa's rallying cry transcends desperation, transforming fear into fierce hope. She becomes the beacon for a fractured sector, a symbol of unity and defiance against corporate tyranny, rallying all who dream of reclaiming their home and destiny. The colony's elders marshal their experience and wisdom to organize guerrilla tactics that turn the devastated terrain into a labyrinth of defensive strongholds. Using intimate knowledge of every canyon, ridge, and hidden valley, they deploy ambushes and traps designed to exploit the enemy's every move. Militia forces lay intricate snares, igniting explosives that shatter rocky passes and force corporate troops into deadly choke points. This strategic ingenuity balances the colony's technological limitations, forging a resilient shield of survival. Maps glow with tactical markings as elders coordinate, their calm authority transforming battered landscapes into fortresses of hope. With supply routes increasingly severed and corporate forces closing in, Tess makes the critical decision to seal all colony coordinates from outgoing transmissions. "They won't find us," she declares, plunging Greenlight into an electronic silence that frustrates even the most advanced trackers. The colony becomes a ghostly presence within the sector, navigating by star charts and instinct alone. Communication panels dim, screens fade to black, and ships slip silently through space, shielded by tactical invisibility. This calculated concealment buys precious time, an elusive sanctuary where the colony can rebuild strength under the radar of their merciless foes. Under the glow of alien twin moons, rebels and colonists gather shoulder to shoulder, their voices rising in solemn unity. We protect Greenlight. The shared commitment transcends fear and hardship, forging bonds unbreakable by war or treachery. The colony's emblem, a luminous seedling glowing softly in the night, shines as a beacon of hope and resilience, a symbol of life flourishing against impossible odds. Silhouetted against the star-studded sky, this united front embodies the spirit of defiance, promising that the light of Greenlight will endure no matter the darkness that surrounds it. In the heavy stillness following the battle, Tess stands alone before a memorial wall, her eyes tracing the names and faces of fallen friends and foes alike, etched forever in stone. Each loss weighs on her like a shadow, mixing sorrow with the fierce resolve burning in her chest. Candlelight flickers softly in the darkened room, casting trembling shadows that mirror her conflicted thoughts. The silence holds unspoken questions about the cost of survival, the sacrifices made, and the uncertain path ahead. In this quiet moment, Tess feels the immense burden of leadership pressing down, yet beneath the grief, a flicker of determination refuses to fade. A council elder approaches with slow, deliberate steps, his face lined with age and worry. His voice is low, carrying the weight of hard-earned caution as he says, "You bear too much. What if we fail? His furrowed brow and tired eyes reveal fears that ripple beneath the colony's brave facade, echoing the silent doubts of many. Tess absorbs the words in thoughtful silence, the elder's concern settling heavily on her shoulders like a tangible weight. It is a stark reminder that hope, while vital, may not be enough to shield them from the harshness of what lies ahead. Tess meets the elder's gaze steadily and responds with quiet conviction. Then we fail as one and rise again. As she speaks, her hand tightens around the colony's medallion, the glowing emblem a symbol of shared purpose and unyielding resilience. Her words kindle a spark among the gathered colonists, determination blossoming in their faces. The medallion's soft light seems to pulse in response, binding them together in a vow that transforms doubt into collective strength. In this solemn moment, Tess reaffirms the unbreakable bond that holds the colony's fragile unity intact. Beneath the surface of daily life, shadows of fear and fatigue ripple quietly through the colony's corridors. Dimly lit rooms harbor whispered conversations and tense glances exchanged between weary residents. The endless strain of leadership, vigilance against looming threats, and the weight of responsibility create invisible cracks threatening to fracture their solidarity. Though faces remain stoic in public, these silent rifts remind Tess that the human elements behind resilience are fragile, vulnerable to the quiet erosion of hope if left unhealed. Seeking to renew the colony's spirit, Tess turns toward the youngest among them, children and youths gathered in a small circle. Her voice soft but resolute, she asks, "Will you stand with me?" Their unanimous nods, bright eyes gleaming with determination, kindle a new flame of hope that warms Tessa's heart. These young faces embody the future and the promise of renewal, their commitment a beacon in the darkness. Smiling gently, Tess feels her own belief in their shared destiny rekindled, strengthened by this pledge of courage. As twilight descends, the green light emblem pulses gently, glowing softly on Tessa's medallion and across the colony's communication devices. This luminous symbol shines as a beacon of hope born from hardship, representing endurance, unity, and the courage to press onward when the path is uncertain. Faces throughout the colony are bathed in the emblem's warm light, their eyes reflecting a shared resolve. In this quiet glow, the community finds renewed strength, an unspoken promise to carry their mission forward, no matter the darkness that lies ahead. The once barren fields surrounding the colony burst into vibrant life as the long-silent terraforming systems hum steadily back to life. Rich, fertile soil emerges from cracked earth, and clean water flows in revitalized streams winding through the landscape. Alien wildlife, cautious but curious, begins to return. Small creatures peering from dense foliage, birds taking tentative flight across clear skies. Every blooming flower and ripple in the water sings a quiet anthem of resilience, proof that even after devastation, life finds a way to thrive. The colony's heartbeat syncs with these natural rhythms, a powerful testament to human determination intertwined with environmental harmony. This renewal paints a vivid picture of hope, a world once lost, now breathing anew, rich with possibility. Towering spires across the colony pulse with renewed energy, casting rhythmic waves of glowing light into the dark skies. These living beacons send signals rippling outward, a vibrant message across the sector, an undeniable testament that life endures and resistance persists. The hum of machinery blends seamlessly with the chorus of nature, the rustling leaves, distant calls of wildlife, creating a symphony of renewal that echoes through the atmosphere. This pulse transcends planetary boundaries, reaching allies across star systems and even stirring unease in rival factions. The colony's towers stand as both a literal and metaphorical lighthouse, guiding hope through darkness, broadcasting a defiant declaration of survival and resurgence to all who listen. Beneath the glow of twin suns, Tess watches children sprinting freely through the vibrant meadows, their laughter ringing like bells across the open fields. The innocence and unrestrained joy of their play sharply contrast with the colony's hard-fought past, embodying a future shaped by renewal and optimism. Their gleeful shouts weave through the warm air, binding the community in a shared experience of healing and connection. For Tess, these moments are more than fleeting happiness. They're the living proof that hope has taken root, that new generations will inherit a world worth protecting. The simple beauty of laughter under alien skies becomes a sacred ritual of rebirth and unity. In a solemn gathering beneath banners bearing the colony's emblem, the leaders step forward one by one to pledge their allegiance to Tess, not as a ruler imposing will, but as a guardian entrusted with their shared future. Their hands clasp hers firmly, the gesture a bond of mutual respect, trust, and collective responsibility. This moment marks a shift in the colony's journey, from mere survival to deliberate stewardship. Tessa's leadership is no longer defined by command alone, but by the protective commitment to nurture and shield this fragile community. Her role becomes a symbol of unity, a promise that the colony's hopes and heritage will be safeguarded together. Tess stands before the gathered community, her voice steady and resolute as she declares, "Our roots run deep, and so must our courage." The words resonate through the crowd like a call to arms for growth, resilience, and unyielding spirit. This mantra inspires the colony to embrace both their history and the daunting future, urging them to nurture their land as fiercely as their own hopes. Around her, seedlings push through fertile earth, symbolizing the fragile but persistent spark of life and renewal. The promise to stand firm, rooted in courage and commitment, cements a new legacy, a foundation upon which the colony will build its tomorrow. Tess stood at the heart of the command bridge, her voice calm, yet commanding as she orchestrated a diverse fleet of rebel and colonist ships. With practiced precision, she directed coordinated strikes against the corporate supply lines that strangled their sector's lifeblood. Rebel fighters darted like shadows through enemy formations, executing hit-and-run tactics that sowed chaos and disrupted vital shipments. The fleet didn't merely attack. It defended crucial outposts, transforming isolated stations into fortified bastions. Veteran captains and fresh recruits alike found confidence in Tessa's leadership, their determination fueled by her unwavering resolve. Through unity and strategy, they pushed back against overwhelming odds, turning the tide of battle one maneuver at a time, a relentless shield protecting the fragile dawn of their reclaimed home. Envoys from a colony embarked on journeys to neighboring star systems, carrying messages of hope and solidarity. They negotiated alliances grounded not in conquest, but in shared values of survival, freedom, and ecological stewardship. Across sleek hollow conference tables, diverse alien and human delegates exchanged ideas, technologies, and vital intelligence. These diplomatic overtures forged a growing network of support, weaving scattered factions into a cohesive coalition. The exchange of ecological technologies, methods to restore barren worlds and protect fragile ecosystems, cemented bonds beyond politics. Through these delicate but determined efforts, the colony expanded its influence, transforming from an isolated refuge into a beacon of cooperation, a rising force committed to protecting their hard-won freedom from looming threats. In the great hall of the colony, bathed in warm light and surrounded by hopeful faces, Tess lifted the glowing medallion and placed it reverently upon her chest. "This seed is our strength," she declared, her voice steady and resonant. The medallion's soft luminescence pulsed like a heartbeat, symbolizing the fusion of heritage, hope, and resilience that defined their fight. Around her, the crowd fell into solemn silence, their eyes reflecting the weight and promise of that moment. It was more than a token. It was a sacred emblem of life renewed and the unbreakable spirit of a community forged through struggle. In that quiet power, the colony's future was sealed, united beneath a shared symbol of growth and defiance. Streams of encrypted data surged through the colony's communication arrays, flooding rebel engineering networks with blueprints and schematics of their ecological revival technology. These open-source packets unlocked secrets buried deep within the colony's vaults, sparking a wave of innovative projects across the sector. In workshops and labs, engineers and scientists collaborated feverishly, adapting the technology to heal desolate planets and restore their once-lost ecosystems. What had begun as a solitary outpost struggle became a sector-wide movement of renewal and hope. The torrent of knowledge spread like wildfire, turning isolated pockets of resistance into thriving hubs of environmental restoration, united in purpose and driven by the belief that life could flourish again. Faced with unyielding resistance and a growing storm of bad publicity, corporate megafleets began a calculated retreat from the Ardina sector. Their massive warships pulled back into the shadowy depths of space, signaling a rare victory against the merciless grip of profit-driven oppression. Boardrooms once filled with ruthless executives now echoed with anxiety as the balance of power shifted. Colonists and rebels alike watched as the suffocating corporate presence waned, allowing room for new life and freedom to take hold. The sector, once choked by exploitation and greed, breathed easier, its stars no longer obscured by the smoke of conflict, but illuminated by the promise of growth and liberation. Beneath banners emblazoned with a glowing seedling emblem, rebels and colonists gathered for a solemn ceremony, the signing of the Greenlight Pact. This covenant bound diverse factions in a promise to protect life, liberty, and the fragile ecosystems now entrusted to their care. Hands joined firmly in solidarity. The pact marked a formal unification, transcending old divisions and grievances. It was a pledge not just of defense, but of stewardship, a shared commitment to nurture the sector's rebirth and guard it against future threats. The Greenlight Pact became the foundation for a new era, one built on cooperation, hope, and the unyielding will to protect their hard-won home. The glowing seedling emblem quickly became more than a symbol. It grew into a rallying standard etched across ships, banners, and uniforms. It embodied the spirit of rebellion, resilience, and renewal that defined the colony's journey. On spaceports, the emblem fluttered proudly against cosmic backdrops. In battlefields, it marked the courageous fighters standing defiant against overwhelming odds. Worn close to hearts and emblazoned on hulls, the seedling carried the story of a people who dared to reclaim life from devastation. It was a beacon for all who yearned for freedom, a legacy forged in fire and growth, lighting the way for future generations to follow. Once lost to time and neglect, the colony now flourished as a vibrant hub of ecological innovation and cultural rebirth. Markets buzzed with activity beneath crystal-clear skies, green landscapes stretched toward the horizon, and the community thrived on hope and hard work. The colony's story rippled across galaxies, inspiring distant worlds to believe in second chances and the power of unity. Tess and her people stood as living proof that resilience and courage could reclaim even the darkest frontiers. This new era was not just survival. It was a testament to growth, healing, and the enduring light of a future forged from the ashes of the past. The settlers worked tirelessly, transforming shattered remnants into vibrant homes once more. Cracked walls were patched and painted with bright colors, while gardens flourished in every available patch of soil. The scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers mingled with the warmth of morning sunlight, signaling rebirth. Marketplaces buzzed with renewed energy as traders exchanged goods and stories, laughter threading through the crowd like a healing balm. Children chased each other through narrow streets, their joyous cries echoing against walls that had once been silent. Each smile and shared meal bore witness to a community reclaiming its heartbeat, turning scars into stories of hope. The colony's pulse quickened, a living testament to resilience, reminding all that life, no matter how broken, finds a way to grow again. Tess stood before a circle of eager young leaders, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of trials endured and victories won. Around her, holographic maps shimmered, detailing not only terrain but the colony's evolving future. She balanced tradition and innovation, reminding the youth that the lessons of their ancestors must guide, not bind, their actions. With gentle encouragement, she fostered curiosity and responsibility, urging them to experiment with new sustainable technologies while honoring the land's ancient rhythms. Her mentorship was both firm and nurturing, a steady hand guiding fresh minds towards stewardship that would nurture both earth and community. In this shared space of learning, Tess seeded hope, cultivating a generation equipped to sustain the delicate harmony their predecessors fought so hard to restore. When the colony's elders ceremonially offered Tess the symbolic throne of leadership, she regarded the seat with quiet humility. A soft smile played on her lips as she gracefully declined, saying, "I'm a guardian, not a queen." Her words resonated deeply, embodying the colony's spirit of shared stewardship over hierarchical rule. Tess believed leadership meant service and protection, not dominion or power. Her choice strengthened the bonds within the community, inspiring trust and mutual respect rather than fear or obedience. By stepping away from the pedestal, she elevated the collective, reinforcing that the future belonged to all who nurtured it together. In that simple refusal, a new era dawned, one defined by unity, responsibility, and the courage to guard life's fragile flame. As dawn's first golden rays spilled over the horizon, Tess clasped hands with the colony's elders, their fingers interlacing in a silent pact of hope. Together, they watched tender green shoots push defiantly through the rich, dark soil, nature's enduring promise breaking through scars of the past. The soft rustle of leaves and the gentle whisper of morning breeze seemed to echo the community's heartbeat, steady and sure. The scene was quiet yet profound. Life reclaimed, wounds healing beneath skies painted with warmth and light. This shared moment beneath the twin suns symbolized more than growth. It was a living testament to renewal, resilience, and a future brightened by unity and courage. The colony's story closes not with an end, but with a beginning, a reminder that healing is a continuous journey. From the ashes of hardship arise new roots, grounded in care, courage, and a shared commitment to nurture. The legacy of Greenlight endures as a beacon for those who believe that even the most scarred worlds can bloom again. Children's laughter fills the air, and fields sway under gentle winds, painting a future shaped by hope and collective will. The cycle of life spins onward, endless and unyielding, a quiet promise that growth will always follow even the darkest nights. In the bustling heart of the reborn colony, a small child with wide, curious eyes tugs gently at Tessa's sleeve. "Is it true you found us and saved us all?" the child asks, voice filled with innocent wonder and hope. The question hangs in the warm air, capturing the profound impact of Tessa's journey, not just as a rescuer, but as the spark that ignited a new beginning for this forgotten world. Around them, the lively colony pulses with renewed life, the child's words echoing the collective memory and the promise of survival. Tess kneels to the child's height, her voice soft and reassuring. "We found each other, and together we grow," she says, her smile warm and sincere. Her words shift the narrative from solitary heroism to shared strength, reminding all that hope thrives not in isolation, but in unity. As her hand rests gently on the child's shoulder, it seals a bond of trust and belonging, a living testament that their futures are intertwined, growing stronger side by side. Nearby, the colony's elders stand in quiet pride, their faces lit by the gentle glow of lanterns and the colony's life pulse. They nod in unison, voices steady as they declare, "She's our savior and our family." These words embody Tessa's dual role, not only as protector and leader, but as an integral part of their community's fabric. Their smiles carry the weight of history, resilience, and unwavering faith in the future they now share together. Above the gathering, the green light emblem blazes brightly atop the colony's tallest tower, cutting a luminous figure against the vast night sky. The glowing seedling symbol shines as a radiant beacon, signaling that even in the deepest void of space, hope takes root and flourishes. Stars sparkle endlessly beyond, framing the emblem's light as a timeless reminder of resilience, collective courage, and the enduring power of unity. The scene slowly fades to a panoramic view of the colony basking in the gentle light of dawn. Trees sway softly, children laugh and play beneath flourishing branches, and the landscape thrives, a living legacy of renewal. The final words linger like a quiet promise. Even in the forgotten corners of the cosmos, life endures, hope blossoms, and the light of courage reaches far beyond the stars.